The New York Rangers currently have 3 total prospects playing in the CHL, 1 in the QMJHL, which is the Quebec League, and then 2 in the OHL, which is obviously the Ontario League. So we're going to be taking a look at those prospects, giving you guys an update on what they've done so far this year and how their team's done so far as well, and just kind of some future outlooks on what could happen with these guys and how long before we could see these guys potentially in the NHL, because that's obviously the goal for all these guys when they get drafted, is to obviously be in the NHL one day, and we'll see how long that could take for some of these guys as well. Just giving you guys kind of my thoughts. But starting off here, taking a look at the top guy of the bunch here, Bryce McConnell-Barker. This guy, I would say, is the best center prospect in the entire Rangers system. He's a phenomenal prospect. I would say probably the number 3 overall forward prospect, right behind Othman and Perreault. Bryce is a phenomenal two-way center, and that's what he was drafted as well. And then last year had a monster kind of breakout year offensively in his 18-year-old season. Had a phenomenal year, did really good offensively and defensively with a not great Sioux Greyhounds team. This year, though, the Greyhounds look like a much better team, so that's good there. Obviously, they're not like at the top of the league, but they're one of the better teams in the entire OHL, which is definitely a good sign. And he is one of the leaders on that team as well. And Bryce also has the chance of potentially being on Team Canada at the World Juniors. Now, obviously, every year, Canada's team is always just stacked. So we'll see if there's room for him into making the team or not. Maybe as kind of an extra or like the fourth line center. That's a possibility because of his two-way game and his penalty killing and stuff like that. And his face-offs. His face-offs is phenomenal. I think there is reason to think that potentially he could end up making Team Canada. So we'll see what happens there. But definitely doesn't have the best shot, but does have a chance still at potentially making Team Canada for the World Juniors. But he's a great prospect, 6'2", 194 pounds, left-handed shot. Taken 3rd round in the 2022 draft, number 97 overall. As of right now, that is an absolute steal. This guy is a phenomenal player, great two-way game, really good defensively. And like I said, that's what he was drafted as, is being kind of a really good, more known as a defensive center than like a kind of offensive stud. But he has shown a lot so far this year. I mean, 17 games played, 15 points, 5 goals, 10 assists. Not bad. I mean, he had a pretty slow start to the year, kind of, and then as of late has kind of heated up a bit in his last 5 games, has 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. So, not too bad. He's played pretty good as of late. Like I said, his team is one of the better teams in the entire OHL. So his team's doing good. He's doing good. He's one of the leaders on that team. And so far this year, off to a decent start. Last year finished with 77 points in 68 games played. So hopefully he can kind of be, maybe hit 80 points this year at least and continue with that offensive game and defense game and keep developing those areas. And he will be a potentially very good center one day. He definitely has the potential to be maybe a second, third line center at the NHL level one day. He is a very talented two-way center and really has kind of, found an offensive game. Hopefully that can continue over into this year as well. But carrying on here and taking a look at the massive prospect that was taken in this year's draft, 6'7", Dylan Roobroeck. Now, this guy is an absolute animal. He is huge, 6'7", over 200 pounds. He was the 6th round pick in this year's draft, number 178 overall by the Rangers. And this is a guy who, he is an overager, so he's the same age as Bryce McConnell-Barker, who was taken in the 2022 draft. His original draft class was 2022, but went undrafted and then got drafted by the Rangers in this year's draft. So not bad there. He's 19 years old already, so is a bit older. Like I said, the same age as Bryce, but he's 6'7", from Canada, obviously. But this is just a crazy prospect. I mean, 6'7". We got guys like Matt Rempe who are 6'8". Adam Edstrom, the Swedish prospect, he is also 6'8". So we have a lot of pretty tall prospects. Taylor Boyko, another goalie prospect for the Rangers, he is also 6'8". So Rangers have, could almost build a basketball team here with all these guys, and he kind of joins that pack of just huge hockey players. So obviously he's a good player. I mean, he's talented. You'll see some of these clips here. He has a lot of skill, a lot of talent, good hands, good deeks, good moves. Like, he's got some good hands, especially for a guy who's 6'7". He can skate really well for a guy who's 6'7". Like, he has some offensive talent there. Now, obviously, he's got a long way to go before he reaches that, but if he can work on his skating, keep getting that better, keep getting the hands and shot better, the offensive game better, this guy has some potential to be a decent, maybe a kind of third liner one day. I mean, obviously, I'm projecting here. I'm not a scout, but that's kind of what I'm guessing. I don't know if he has necessarily the top 6 kind of, offensive potential, but being a bottom 6 guy, I could definitely see one day out of Dylan, and he is a very solid prospect currently this year. Has 16 games played, 3 goals, 9 assists, 12 points. He's got, last year had 53 points in 68 games played. He's kind of right now projected to have the exact same amount of games played, but just 2 less goals and the same amount of points. So hopefully that can change and he can kind of turn things around there and obviously finish over a point per game potentially, which we might kind of see because he did just finish under a point per game last year where he had 53 points in 68 games played. So hopefully he can kind of jump over a point per game this year, maybe get up to 70 or so points and have a much better year. He kind of got off to a pretty good start, had a couple goals in his first couple games, looked really good, and then has kind of cooled off with 5 points in his last 10 games and 1 point in his last 5. So obviously he has kind of cooled off a bit as of late, but hopefully he can heat up a bit. But Oshawa is not one of the better teams. I believe they're currently in 8th place in the Eastern Conference, so not doing too great, but overall not doing too terrible either. And the last guy we have to take a look at here is Maxim Barbashev. He's a solid player from the QMJHL. Ended up kind of going over later because he got traded in the offseason, and they had too many Euro guys, so they had to get rid of one, and then they ended up getting rid of one. So you only have so many import kind of guys. So they always had to trade one of those guys away to bring in Maxim, but it kind of took a little bit of time. So he ended up going over a little later into the season, but he's there now. He's played 11 games already this year, and he's done pretty good so far. 11 games played, 9 points, 2 goals, 7 assists. Not bad. Last year had 67 games played, 65 points. So hopefully he can kind of do a bit better than last year, maybe finish over a point per game. That'd be kind of cool to see, but he's a pretty solid prospect, former 5th round pick in the 2022 draft, number 161, 19 years old, left wing, 6'1", 183 pounds. His brother's Ivan Barbashev in the NHL right now, who's won 2 Stanley Cups, one with the Golden Knights and one with the Blues, so a pretty solid player there. And if we're projecting out here, I'd probably have to guess he's probably going to be a bottom 6, maybe 4th line kind of guy one day if he makes the NHL. The offensive game is solid, but it's definitely nothing too insane or incredible, but I think he's still a solid player and definitely could one day be a potential NHLer if you can work on some things and really upgrade just his overall game. I think he definitely could be an NHLer one day. You never know. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe for daily New York Rangers content. I post every single day, so if you're a Rangers fan, this is the place to be. There's no better place on YouTube than this channel if you are a Rangers fan. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching. See ya.